Okay, so here's the deal. I've got this joke. You guys got to hear it. It's so funny. So here's the deal. Superman is flying around Metropolis like he's known to do, and he's like checking everything out, and he's looking around, and sure enough, as he's looking around, what does he see? He sees Wonder Woman, and what is she doing? She's on top of a building, sunbathing naked.
No, no, that's bad. That's a bad cram. Jeez, oh man, sorry guys.
I feel like Deadpool in China.
No, good reference, but bad. Welcome once again to Dark Knave's Weekend Geek. I'm your host, the Dark Knave, along with his henchman Cram. Let's do this. So we've been talking a lot about films and TV. It's time to revisit the world of the comics themselves. We got a couple of quick hits for you. The biggest one is probably coming from DC, who teased us with an image that has the word rebirth on it. Yay, a reboot. 52's been around about 5 years, might as well reboot the whole universe again, if that's what that means. It also means a lot of number ones, and probably a lot of characters getting redesigned, and I think, and this could be me, but this could mean that DC's trying to get their comic books more in line with what they're doing in their cinematic universe to sort of bridge the gap, so who knows, it's just an image, we're all speculating, it's a lot of fun.
Do they just want to do like more number ones just to get more people to buy the books?
Yeah, I wonder
really?
who does anything like that. I'm sure Marvel never does anything like that either. Yeah. No. So speaking of the House of Ideas, over at the Marvel side of things, we've gotten a couple of teases from them. The biggest one being a black screen with the words "Dead No More" on it. Later this week, we saw that the image has been updated. It's now red with a spider web behind it, and so that means probably someone from the Spider-Verse is coming back to life. I'm guessing it's probably Dr. Octopus, since they've been sort of hinting at the idea since his demise, but it's probably somebody stupid like Gwen Stacy or the Green Goblin for the 40th time. More to come. Let's just hope it's not Uncle Ben. Also, Civil War 2 is ramping up because, it's summer event preview season, and we are once again being treated to another big Marvel death at the end of a summer event. Hooray!
Wait a minute. Didn't we just end their other summer event?
Technically, yes, we did just end their last summer event and this month.
Getting ready for the next one.
Yeah, maybe they'll actually, wrap it up sometime around the end of the summer. Let's not hold our breaths, but there will be another big death. Who knows who it'll be. If it's anything like the original Civil War, it'll be somebody from the Captain America side of the house. And speaking of Captain America, surprise, surprise, we've got a Captain America movie coming out, and so, of course, Steve Rogers is being de-aged and back in the costume as Captain America once again.
And it's another number one, isn't it?
That's another number one. Hooray! And he's back to having the pointy shield with the triangular design. I don't know, looks kind of silly to me, but we'll see how it all pans out when we get our next number one. We also have a return to the Thunderbolts, which I personally loved the first series. I thought it was cool that it was the Masters of Evil in disguise, disguising as heroes. They totally ruined the book as it went along. It had a rebirth, that was horrible, and it looks like they're going back to the core team, which is good. It looks like a new fixer, but everybody else seems to be intact, and this one is being led by Bucky, the Winter Soldier. So that could be very cool. And guess what that means? Another number one, that's right. Meanwhile, we don't talk a lot about IDW, but they have taken on a couple of toy licenses that have been in limbo for a very long time. Two that I am extremely fond of. Rom from the 80s, and also the Micronauts. So we are seeing Rom the Space Knight gracing comic books once again, as well as the Micronauts, which will be real interesting because Marvel has been using them, and they've been using them pretty extensively in the Microverse, which I guess they're not going to call it that anymore because they don't own the license. So more to come on that. I'll probably give a review of Rom number one when it hits stores. Last week I promised a Book of the Week review, and I aimed to deliver, and so it would have been Old Man Logan number one from Marvel. It's got a nice plot twist to it, but I'm kind of tired of the whole thing, so my actual Book of the Week this week is JLA number 7. The reason I'm picking JLA is because Hitch has done a nice job of taking the big 7 and putting them in situations that readers want to read. So Grant Morrison's run was so successful because Big team, lots of power, fighting big things. World-ending crisis situations, super powerful characters, and once again, here we've got the Big Seven, this time with Cyborg instead of Martian Manhunter, fighting Rao, or however you want to pronounce it. That's Superman's god from back on Krypton days. So, I'm going to review that book, and I'm going to do it in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, Hitch has done a nice job of not only writing but drawing this book. It looks like a big summer movie epic. The Big Seven are there, Cyborg's actually playing a nice part. Superman has gotten a chance to shine in this, doing his powers in a couple of different very unique ways, especially at the end with the big cliffhanger. This whole story has been very interesting to me. I like the Wonder Woman God stuff. It's interesting to see Aquaman picking up Neptune or whoever's trident that is, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes from here. Big, powerful stuff, lots of big fights, lots of action scenes, go! I do want to hit one thing in the world of television. I want to touch on the CW's Arrow. I don't want to talk about this season because we're in the middle of it, and I'd rather talk about that when we wrap it up at the end, but I do want to touch on the show overall. I feel that DC learned a lot from Smallville about the slow burn. If it takes 10 seasons to get a guy into a costume and you barely see him anyway, it's not really a great feeling. I know a lot of people love Smallville, but still, Arrow does a much nicer job of getting the ball rolling pretty quickly. The first season is a little slower than I might like, but from the second season on, they ramped it up fairly nicely and involved a lot of new characters like Merlin and White Tiger. The introduction of other archers like Speedy and Arsenal, as well as Cupid, have been nice and organic, and they're all pretty good characters. They introduced Diggle and Felicity, who have since transcended over to the comic books. He's gone through a couple iterations, different costumes, different masks. At least he's not wearing the silly eye makeup now. But it really started to take off when they introduced the Flash and started doing the crossovers. So we're getting some nice cohesive universe feel across the television show. Honestly, Stephen Amell makes a really good Green Arrow. Why DC doesn't want to use him in the movies is beyond me, but that's their decision, and I don't necessarily agree with it. I highly recommend checking it out. We'll touch on the final season, or the season that's airing right now after the season's over, and I hope you enjoy it. I know we did. Thanks again for watching Week in Geek. I'm your host, The Dark Knave, with his henchman, Cram. I know we said we may have a big announcement this week. We are almost there, but things aren't finalized yet, and so hopefully by next week, cross your little evil fingers, hopefully we'll have something for you then. So you're going to take over. Share, subscribe, yada, yada, yada.
No, not share and subscribe, yada, yada, yada. Share and subscribe, check out the links in the doobly-doo.
Bad. Ready, Cram?
Ready?
Supervillain freeze frame.